Another season at Wolves has flown by. As the 21-22 campaign draws to a close, it's time to reflect back on our work off the pitch in equality, diversity and inclusion. We're going to take a look at the new initiatives that we've implemented in different areas that will benefit staff, supporters and the wider community. And where better to start than with our award-winning work in accessibility this season. At Wolves, we are very lucky to have a passionate and talented Disability Access Officer, Laura Wright, who works endlessly to improve access at the club and matchday experiences for our disabled fans. Laura accepted an award from the Centre for Access to Football in Europe, their Club Initiative Awards 2021, on behalf of Wolves in recognition of the club's continued efforts to introduce new and innovative activities that promote wider access and inclusion at the club. One of many new initiatives this season was the introduction of a sensory tour of Molineux. We identified that some supporters with additional needs may be unable to participate in our traditional stadium tours, so this one is completely step-free, wheelchair accessible and engages with touch, sight, feel and smell to really bring Molineux to life. The tour ends in the Wolves megastore during its dedicated autism hour, and it doesn't miss out on the most exciting parts of our traditional tours, including the tunnel and the players' dressing room, to ensure that all of our supporters, whatever their accessibility needs, can still get the ultimate behind-the-scenes experience. This season, women and girls football at Wolves merged with the academy for the very first time. Earlier in the year, I spoke to head of women and girls football, Gemma, to find out how much of a positive impact it's had this season.
It's made a huge difference. Firstly, being welcomed into the academy and getting full integration is something that a lot of clubs have struggled with nationally. So to have full provision of the medical care here from first team staff, wider medical MDT, strength and conditioning, goalkeepers, recruitment, operations and transport makes a massive difference to us as well and gives us more time to spend with players, with staff and on the pitch, so it's made a huge difference to us.
Last season, we made a commitment to creating an environment on and offline that is free from hate, discrimination and abuse. And this year, we've seen that commitment evolve into real action that is having a big impact, particularly on match days. Our new tech service was launched in November to give fans a way to report any discriminatory behaviour they witness on a match day at Molineux anonymously to the club. We've also partnered with charity Remedy, who support victims of hate crime, and they're present at home games to immediately approach and support victims should they need it. The introduction of these services has already led to a hate crime conviction this season, thanks to supporters who reported what they saw.
So my name's PC Ward. I'm investigator for West Midlands Police. My job title is Dedicated Football Hate Crime Officer. I'm based on our Force Football Unit, and in short I cover the 6 professional clubs, men and women's game, the semi-professional and the grassroots. We have numerous officers on a match day, depending on the category of the fixture. You'll always have our football officers, our dedicated football officer in the ground, and you may, depending on the category and who is involved in the fixture, have more resources in different parts of the ground depending on what that threat and risk is.
So when we receive a report of an incident through the tech service here, it comes through to the control room to either myself or one of the fan services team. The beauty of the tech service is it allows us to reply, so then we can ask the support for more information if required, so we can get a better idea of where the incident's taking place, the people involved, what's happened, and then once we've got enough information, that then gets reported into the safety officer on the day, who can monitor the situation by CCTV. We can let stewards in the area know so they can monitor the situation as well. We recommend reporting to a steward where possible. That is the best option because it allows us to act immediately. However, the findings from our fan survey last year, that sort of showed that there's an element of supporters who don't feel comfortable doing that, and that's fair enough. So their preferred method would have been by a text message service, which is why we've introduced this. So that's a real positive, and they can find that number. It's going to be back on the back of season tickets next year, which is great. It's on the back of print home tickets at the moment. It's on the LED ribbon around the stadium during the game and on signage in the concourse and around the stadium as well. But we'd advise supporters just save that number in your phone, so if you do ever need it, it's there to hand. You haven't got to wait for it to come on the ribbon again. And as I say, the sooner things are reported, the quicker we can act and deal on that.
We've had cases that have gone through to court banning orders, football banning orders have been issued, people have been convicted. We've had a lot of reports where investigations are currently ongoing, where again supporters have reported stuff to the club and the police. We're gathering statements and CCTV, so it is getting there slowly, it is working. We need to obviously get more people in front of the courts to show supporters that there is an end goal really to these reports. Unfortunately, they do take time to gather that evidence and work with the Crown Prosecution Service, but I think it's all been really positive so far.
Elsewhere, Wolves are proud to have taken part in nationwide photography project My Club, My Shirt, or My Wolves, My Shirt as ours is called, which champions supporters from a variety of different backgrounds wearing their old gold shirts to bring together fans from all walks of life. The photos were captured by the first transgender person to work in the Premier League, photographer, author and campaigner Sophie Cook. Our captain, Conor Cody, has led the way this season in football allyship. Back in August, he won an award at the British LGBT Awards for saying that he hoped any fellow professional who was struggling with their sexuality would feel comfortable speaking to him. Now, Conor believes that these words are no more than what should be expected of any ally. So this season, he's made an effort to continue that important conversation around sexuality and football. He spoke to Wolves women's striker Ali Miller to discuss her experiences.
How do you see our side of it? So from a men's game, that there's obviously no gay people within the men's game. How do you see that from your point of view?
I'm surprised that there's someone hasn't or isn't part of the community. I think there's a lot of more pressure on you, like there's a lot more like starlight on you guys. So when you do come out, there's always going to be a lot of media circus about it, which is obviously a shame. But I think that then just people find it easier to kind of keep it within themselves, which is it's definitely a shame because. Coming into a place which should be like your home and your family and having to kind of hide what is quite a big part of you, even though maybe it doesn't affect your football, it's a big part of you, who you are as a person, and so to come in and have to hide that is tough.
It's a massive part of someone's life, innit? Do you know what I mean? And that's the biggest thing for me, I think. Wherever that one person is or wherever them people are within football is that they're keeping that within them. Do you know what I mean? That's the biggest thing for me. I can't imagine how hard that must be.
Yeah, and definitely like especially if you've got someone as well, like having to hide what is potentially one of the most amazing things in your life, to hide that from the people that you're closest with and you spend so much time with, is incredibly hard.
This year, we looked at how we can better support our Muslim players, fans and staff. This started back in September when we signed the Muslim Athletes Charter, which is created by Nujum Sports, a non-profit organisation that we've partnered with, and they work with clubs to help them better understand the needs of Muslim sporting professionals and fans. Ahead of Ramadan, Nujum also helped us to provide Ramadan packs to our players. This then led to the official opening of our multi-faith room in the Sir Jack Hayward building at the training ground, which gives players a dedicated space for prayer, whether they're in our first team, our academy or our women's team. This year, we held our very first Mental Health and Wellbeing Week, 7 days dedicated to starting conversations with colleagues around this hugely important topic. At Wolves, we now also have a dedicated team of We Care ambassadors who are on hand to support Wolves staff. I've been speaking to Ambassador Lynn Kennings to find out more.
It evolved from a project that we had during the lockdown when our chairman wanted all our staff to be contacted and to have their minds put at rest and to be able to have someone to talk to rather than go to their manager who was looking after things, assessing the business. It was more to provide a hybrid service to our staff to be able to talk to somebody. So as the pandemic come to an end, we decided as a club that we wanted to continue that support to our staff. And that evolved into our We Care ambassadors, which is our wellbeing project. We asked if they'd got any lived experience that they felt they could be more of a support to people that are coming across certain situations for the first time. So that made some of the ambassadors come forward that they had a special interest in bereavement, eating disorders, dementia, mental health, men's mental health. So there was definitely some value to asking them to do that, and now they've got a little bit more ownership of specialist subjects. One of the ones that's been really successful has been our menopause support group. So we have one ambassador who's really passionate about that, and from that has come the club's menopause policy and a specialist interest group that we have, which is called Pause to Chat. I think we provide a neutral space for staff to come, so whereas management are often very busy and involved in what they're doing and HR is perhaps a little bit more formal, this gives a hybrid place for staff to come to and just have somebody to listen to them wherever. And we've got a team of 10 to 15 ambassadors, so there will always be somebody there for staff to go to.
The Wolves Foundation now has over 40 different projects, all focused on making a real difference to people across the city. Last season, we launched Feed Our Pack to tackle food poverty in Wolverhampton. We've got Head for Health, which is now going into its 4th year to improve mental and physical well-being of adults in the city. But one project that we are particularly proud of this season is Healthy Goals. This project provides huge benefits for the very youngest members of our community, 0 to 4-year-olds. It aims to provide children with the absolute best start in life by teaching them and their parents all about healthy growth through nutrition and physical activity, plus lots more fun activities. Here today, the children have been planting flowers, they've been taking strawberries home with them. We've got lots of fun activities going on, lots of arts and crafts to get them involved and kickstart a healthy future. We've only scratched the surface here of our work in equality, diversity and inclusion this season. We are so proud of our achievements, but there is always room to improve and we are always looking to be the very best that we can. And now we have an external EDI advisory group, which is made up of passionate supporters who want to work closely with our internal EDI working group to scrutinise existing plans and projects and also come up with new ones so that the future of EDI at Wolves can be even brighter.